Alexander. The story of Alexander is so famous that it is known to everyone at least in part, unless he be an ignoramus. He conquered the wide world from west to east by force of arms, and as his fame increased, men gladly sued to have him for their friend. He brought to naught the pride of man and beast, whenever he came as far as the world's end, and never can comparison be made of him with any other. At his face kingdoms would quake, the whole world was afraid. He was the flower of knighthood and of grace, the heir of fortune, and in nothing base, save wine and women there was naught could part him from the high designs, or take their place. He was a man so leonine of heart. What praise were it to him, though I should tell of great Darius, and 1,000 more kings, princes, generals, dukes, and earls as well, conquered by him and brought to grief in war. As far as men may ride from shore to shore of the wide world, the world was his to hold. Though I should speak for ever on the score of knightly honor, his could not be told. 12 years he reigned, so say the Maccabees, and was King Philip's son of Macedon, first to be king over the land of Greece. Alas that Alexander, such a son, so gentle, so magnanimous, were one to die by poison from the men he kept, for fortune threw him aces for the run, of sixes thrown before. She wept little. Who then will give me tears, that I may plain the death of greatness, that was never rough, of generous feeling, that had held domain over the world, and thought it not enough? His was a spirit brimming with the stuff of high design. Ah, help me to speak shame of poisoners, and of the foul rebuff of fickle fortune, whom alone I blame. Julius Caesar. By wisdom, manhood, and the works of war, from humble bed to royal majesty, arose great Julius Caesar conqueror, who won the Occident by land and sea, by strength of arms or by diplomacy, and made of each a Roman tributary, and last was emperor himself till he was picked by fortune for her adversary. O Caesar, that in Thessaly excelled against your father-in-law great Pompey's sway, the whole of Orient chivalry was held, in whose command far as the dawn of day. Your valor was enough to take and slay all but a few that fled with him. Your spell held the whole East in terror and dismay. Give thanks to fortune, for she served you well. Yet for a little while I will bewail this Pompey's fate. The noble governor of Rome, who fled the battle for the tale, tells of a man of his, a perjurer, who smote his head off, for he hoped to stir some gratitude in Caesar, so he brought the head to him. O Pompey, justicer of all the East, alas thou wert caught. To Rome once more this Julius turned to don the laurel wreath, triumphant and elate. But Brutus Cassius, as time went on, one that had ever envied his estate, made a conspiracy in subtle hate against this Julius, gave the treacherous vow, and chose the place where he should meet his fate by dagger thrust, and I shall tell you how. Up to the Capitol this Julius went a certain day, as he was wont to do. There he was taken by the malcontent, false-hearted Brutus and his scheming crew. They stabbed him there with daggers through and through, many the wounds, and there they let him die. After one dagger stroke, or maybe two, he never groaned, unless the stories lie. He was a soldier with a manly heart, so dear to him was honest decency, that deeply he felt his gashes smart. He sought to shroud his person, casting free his cloak about his hips and privity. And in the trance of dying, though he knew it was his death, he held in memory the things of seemliness and order due. I recommend you Lucian for this story, and Suetonius, and Valerius too. They wrote of these two conquerors in their glory, and in their end, how both of them once knew fortune to be their friend, and how she grew to be their foe. No man may trust her long. Beware of her in everything you do, and think of these great leaders once so strong. Croesus. Rich King Croesus, king of Lydia, long ago, whom even Persian Cyrus held in dread, was yet cut short in all his pride and show, and led out to be burnt. But as they led him to the stake, such rain from overhead came down, it quenched the fire, and he escaped. He failed to take the warning, be it said. Fate kept him for the gallows, where he gaped. For having thus evaded death by fire, nothing would stop him making war again. He thought that fortune meant to raise him higher, after his luck in being saved by rain, and he presumed he never could be slain. Moreover, being favored by a vision that cockered up his heart, he felt so vain he set himself to vengeance and derision. He dreamt that he was perching in a tree, with Jupiter to wash him back and side, while Phoebus with a towel fair to see was drying him. This was what swelled his pride. He told his daughter, who was at his side, knowing her versed in mysteries it would seem, and asked her what the vision signified. And thus she started to expound his dream. This tree, she told him, signifies a gibbet, and Jupiter betokens snow and rain, while Phoebus with his towel I must exhibit the streaming sun to dry you off again. You will be hanged, my father, that is plain. The rain shall wash you, and the sun shall bake. And thus his daughter warned him, but in vain. Her name was Phania, if I not mistake. Hanged then was Croesus, this tremendous king. His royal sceptre was of no avail. Tragedy is no other kind of thing, nor tunes her song, save only to bewail how fortune ever fickle will assail with sudden stroke the kingdoms of the proud, and when men trust in her, then will fail, and cover her bright face as with a cloud.